I'm in the Christmas spirit, right? You know, can you guys hear me? Just say yes, and then we can start. Yes, thank you. All right, so we lost one person online. Hans, would you mind sending Irene the the Zoom code, or also maybe put it in Facebook Live. But people on Facebook Live, welcome. We say Merry Christmas. It's in 2 days' time since Merry Christmas. To on top of all the craziness, let me immediately start with something special. Is nowadays we can also not so say Merry Christmas anymore. At least to some people. Can you believe that? The world is getting crazier and crazier, right? So, so some people like to hear Happy Christmas and not Merry Christmas. Did you know that? So you can, yeah, you can say we'll talk about that in the after talk about the crazy things that are going on nowadays with Happy Christmas. The topic of today was, remember, should we actually make New Year's resolutions, which is another word for goede voornemens, just in case you are Dutch and not so familiar with the English language, right? New Year's resolutions, goede voornemens for 2021. So a lot of talk on Facebook was, of course, like, wow, we had such an interesting year, so to speak, in 2020. So would you actually make now, since we don't know what's going to happen anyhow, should we actually make New Year's resolutions or goede voornemens? I say yes, but just let me know by the raise or thumbs down or thumbs up whether you agree with that statement or not. Just if you know how to do that, just say yes or say no. Or in Facebook, you can do that too, right? Say yes or no. Saying yes, I think we should still make goede voornemens. Or maybe you never made goede voornemens anyhow, so you wouldn't care to begin with. That's possible too, right? um, so what do you say? Yes. Okay. I say yes. Actually, I say more than ever. Yes, and maybe it's a good time to think about why some people actually believe that we should not make goede voornemens now or New Year's resolutions. Um, and that is people who actually, and it's not like blaming anyone. It is really hard now to not let your life be driven by the circumstances you are in. Does that make sense? So often we let our life be run by the circumstances we in, and we also make often our goals and our goede voornemens um, by the circumstances we are in, right? And that's a reason why a lot of people now, and I thought it was funny because I think I did it last week already on the place, but I saw this YouTube of this girl, and she found back her list of New Year's resolutions from 2020, and that she wrote in December 2019, and then she was reading them while she was having a glass of wine, and it was super funny. She did that really cool, and then she did it actually a little bit with a wink to 2022, but the way she did it, I mean, the video got like, I don't know, millions of shares. Just how funny she did it, because she said, hey, I wanted to do more exercises, and then she started to laugh a little bit about that she didn't do that, and then she wanted to lose weight, and then she got a laugh about that she didn't do that. She wanted to have more contact with people in 2020, and she laughed about it because that didn't happen either. She wanted to get a better career, and actually she lost her job, so that didn't happen as well. And she went on, and by the end of that little, I think 1.5 minute video, she was laughing so hard you can't help laughing about it and see the fun of it when someone is doing that. But let's be honest, right? With most people, I think I do it every year. Every year in November, I write something about New Year's resolutions and setting goals and stuff like that. But we all do them. But by the time it is January the 14th, most of the time we have forgotten all the things we want to do anyhow. And I say the same thing every year. I could actually, just play a video. You could actually also say, hey man, do you actually have to wait till the 1st of January to start with your goede voornemens, or with your am I so boring, Belinda? And with your goede voornemens, or should I with your New Year's resolutions, or can I do that actually every day? Well, of course, if you have something you want to improve in your life, you can actually start with setting a new goal every day. But there is something special with the new year, right? We can always, also be very boring saying, oh yeah, January 1st is just a day. I mean, it's just, of course, every day there starts a new year. You could say that, but let's take the opportunity that there is something new. So if you guys already have maybe something that you have in mind, then let's let's think about it, how to do that, and why I think most of the time goede voornemens or New Year's resolutions don't work, right? So let me share why that is. So most of the time, New Year's resolutions don't work because we take the wrong goals. So let me give you an example. We want to lose weight, right? That is not a good goal, right? We want to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds. Doesn't really matter. That's not a goal, right? That's an end result. That's an end result, and that's why it's not working. If you want to make a goal, you want to take something that you can action upon. Let's say I want to eat less McDonald's. That's a little bit more an actionable item. Or if you say, hey, I want to get fit, that's also not a goal. But that's the way we formulate this thing. If you ask someone, hey, what is your New Year's resolution for 2021? They say, hey, I want to be more fit. That's not a goal. That's an end result, right? A goal is I'm going to work out for half an hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah, that's a goal, right? And if you write it down like that, you can look at Monday evening and say, did I work out or not? No. Okay, I didn't make my goal. So does that make sense? And that's not what we do. So with all these things don't work because most of the time we talk about it like that. We want to get more fit, we want to lose more weight, we want to have better relationship, we want to have all these things, and which are good. But if you don't let it follow up with immediately some personal actionable items that you can do almost on a daily basis. Wow, you guys are magicians, Hans. You disappeared and you came back and Belinda was gone. I mean, that's like, what the hell is that? If that's your goal for 2021, I want to make that you reached your goal already. That was amazing. I should call it the Hans and Belinda show. That was it. Well, it's now only the Hans show because Belinda just disappeared, right? And I think I can do that trick too. Just hold on for a second, right? Hold on for a second.
It's again one of those evenings. Ta-da!
It's amazing. It's truly amazing. I lost track of what I was talking about, but it has nothing to do. Sorry, guys, but Irene is jumping in half past. All right. So anyhow, if you guys on Facebook are still with me, I really admire you guys because this is complete chaos as as always. And anyhow, so I was saying all your goals needs to be super actionable, right? So if you want to type to me a goal that maybe it's not really what you want, but if you could say to me, hey, this is a goal that I actually want to do, then I'll help you to translate it into, you can do that by the way in Facebook too. If you have a goal, something that you want to achieve and make it really difficult for me, by the way, something that you want to achieve in 2021, right? Something that you really say, if I talk to you a year from now, the situation you're in needs to be completely different. So what would that be? Just type it into me and I'll help you if you're not shy, and I will help you to make that into actionable goals, right? So in actionable goals. So something you wanna do. So say something to me. Don't be shy. I won't mention your name, but there are only three people online, so it's not so hard to guess. Come on, Joan, you can join the party. Just type in if I talk to you on December 2020, 2021, what would it be? Okay, someone says less stress. Okay, that's a good goal. Anyone else offer some goals? Um, Irene jump in half past. Oh, that's not a goal. that was the previous one. Okay, so is that the only one? Come on, you guys can do better than that, right? Just give me you just from sorry in Dutch. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, and ja fitter zijn. Okay. Yes. So someone said, I want to be more fit, right? I want to have better stamina, and just want to have more. That's a good goal. I mean, and typically when we talk about these things, we actually think those are good goals. And then we talk about it a year later, and then we kind of wonder, why did this not happen, right? So before I go in the two of you, and Joan, please type something in. You must have something in your mind that is that you want to achieve by 12, 20, no, 12, 22, 21. Well, that's a really hard to say, but it's really nice because it's like a palindrome. 12, 22, 21. You can almost read it in two directions. That's called a palindrome, right? The things you learn here at the place are amazing, right? But I type it for you so you can see it, because in English, in the US, we say 12. That's that's the month. Then we say 22, which is the day, and then we say 21. That's the year. So you have a perfect palindrome. Do you see that? How beautiful is that? Right? How beautiful is that? Okay, so Joan says reduce paper piles, right? Okay, so cool. Everyone had a goal in there to do that. I just literally, I mean, I'm not kidding here. I want my business to do $1 million. I don't want to own $1 million, but I want my business to do $1 million. So I joined the party, right? So why does these goals sound good, but they don't work, right? I gave it away already to you. There's actually two reasons why they don't work. First of all, it is really hard. I still don't know what to do if I say I want to have my business do $1 million. A lot of people say, that's kind of funny, that's like a lot. You're now like a poor guy. And then next year you want to have your business do $1 million. I want to see that, right? So everyone's saying okay, and then someone else says, I want to do I want to be fitter. Okay, that's, some people can have a little bit more an idea what that means. Other people say I want to have a little bit more stress. So that's also something like, okay, we can see that. And then Jones says I want to have just less paper piles around me, which I can agree to that. So all of these goals have the same problem as where I started today, is they just end results. They're end results. They are not goals that you can execute. So if you immediately would go there, then you would start to break it down. But I'm not doing that yet. I'm giving it a Jean Dorf spiel, right? I say, can you imagine that it is 12, 22, 21, right? A year from now, and you reach your goal, right? So the one who said, I want to have less stress, and the other one who said, I have a little bit, I'm in a better shape. And someone else said some other things. Oh, I said, I want to have my business will do $1 million, and so on. And someone says, I want to help out more people. So if you achieve that, what would that feel? How would you, just type it in, right? How would you feel if you achieved your goal? How would that feel? Just like from a physical and a mental state, like, okay, I'm in better shape, man. I can actually lift up, my coffee cup without breaking a sweat. right? I can run with dough, and I can beat him in a run. How would that feel? How would you really feel? You have to get into these things, right? Do you know, guys, know that I used to talk people out of smoking in less than 10 minutes by using the same technique. Seriously true. You can ask some people where I was doing this, in the south of the Netherlands. When I was doing this workshop, I talked people out of smoking in less than 10 minutes. They never got to smoking again, right? But there's a trick that I do, and I want to teach you. So someone says happy, proud, relaxed. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So um, so you have a good feeling, right? If you could truly go into that feeling, we call that a state, right? So Joan, how would you feel if you succeeded in your goal? I'm just waiting so she can type too. Just type in how you feel, right? So we call that a shape, right? So you would feel happy. Let's go to the person who actually feel in a much more, if you are more fit. I mean, let's be honest. If you now, the difference, you don't feel fit to that you feel fit, it's really hard to go into that state because you're not fit. Does that make sense? And so it's really hard to feel that. It's really hard to feel how it is to be more fit. So if you are stressed, um, then the only thing that you can come up with, if I say to you, what is the state that you are in, if you feel less stress, is like, oh yeah, I think I feel relaxed. Actually, I have no clue anymore what that is. Otherwise, I would not ask that to be that in the first place. Does that make sense? So it's another little trap that we do. It's like, oh yeah, then I would be more relaxed to do. So it's way more to be more concrete in saying, if I would be more relaxed or if I would be more fit, how would my life would look different then? What would I do different? If you say now I'm more relaxed, but I don't do anything different, then what's the point altogether? So if you are more fit, what would you do? What would you think you can do more or better or different than today? Is it just to be more fit, or is it just to have like this demigod type of body that I have? Is that what you want? Yeah. It's what is it what you would do? What would you do if you have more energy, right? Let's translate it a little bit. Come on, Dan. What would you do if you have more energy? What's the first thing you would do if you have more energy? What's the first thing you would do, Hans, if you help more people? More. Yeah, see that I like. I'm gonna do. See, we're getting more. You want to do more things. I want to work. I want to be more outside, stuff like that. Right? Cool, cool. If you're more relaxed, what would you do? Help even more people. That's cool because that would give you an even more prouder feeling, right? So you want to expand on those kind of things. Now, let's go with the one that is. So if I would, my business would do $1 million, right? Let me go a little bit there. It's not about the money, because my business is about serving people. I probably could translate that much better into saying, how many people would I need to serve to get the $1 million? You see, so if you want to be more outside, do you truly have to be wait till you are in better shape to go outside? Yeah, probably not, right? Maybe you can only be outside for 2 minutes, right, instead of 20 minutes, but you can already start going a little bit more outside tomorrow. And I know Hans and I had this conversation. Sometimes we say, if I had $1 million, I would do this for 1,000 people. Well, I think you said it, Hans, or I said it, I forgot about it. Well, maybe you should start with one person instead of waiting till you have $1 million and do it for 1,000 people. Maybe you should do it for one person because you don't need $1 million to do it for one person. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, let's see. But then we don't do it, right? So strangely enough, we want to see the end result of the big steps, but we sometimes, strangely enough, mentally don't want to do, not all of you, by the way, but don't want to do the steps to do the one step. So if you want to get rid of your paper piles, maybe you would start with every paper that comes in from now on. I will decide already, do I need it or can I throw it away immediately? Right? So that could be a new habit, right? That's a new habit. So everything, yesterday I did a talk about this book, The Power of Habits, right? You don't have to read it, by the way, but it is a good book. But there are many books about habits, but this is, a really, really good one, The Power of Habits. And the guy's name is Charles Duhigg. He's a New York Times bestseller, and he talks about the habit loops. And he talks about some things that I've been talking about too, is that basically, if you think about our life, it's just a stack up of our habits. Everything in our life is a stack up of our habits. And you can argue with me on that, but I can promise you I will win that argument. Everything that we do in our life is a stack up of our habits. The way from the moment we wake up till the moment we go to bed. And here is the thing, right? Bad habits invite other bad habits. Bad habits invite other bad habits. So the thing to change our life, and that's how we need to learn how to construct our goals, is we need to construct our goals so that we can form habits that actually help us to get to our goals. So if you want to go and walk outside every morning, um, you could do something stupid as make sure that you trip already over your shoes and your coat so that you get a reminder of, okay, I need to go outside, right? That's a habit. It's a habit to trip over your thing. Otherwise, you won't do it, and it goes really bad. So it's always easier, by the way, to explain this through your bad habits. So let's say binge watching, that is just watching without any particular reason to watch television, like Netflix, right? Which is a really nice thing to do at times. But if it becomes a habit, which you can also already see if you watch more than an hour per day Netflix or any other things, that doesn't matter, doesn't add anything to your life, you probably are binge watching, right? Now, here's the nice thing, right? I recently talked, and then I talked to what I mean, she is online too, but I talked to some person about this already, how that works. So if I binge watch a lot, then I also come across interesting things, right? Like new sitcoms. Let's take one. Let's say The Crown. I just have that because I had that conversation with someone, and I say, Hans, did you see The Crown? I said, and Hans said, no, never heard of it. Or in this case, he said, but let's pretend you never heard of it, right? I said, no, I never heard of it. It's not really. It's so good, man. You remember when Prince Di died? Everyone knows about where he or she was when that news comes in. It was shocking news in the time that Prince Lady Di died, and it was okay. So, oh yeah, 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 and you will see things that you didn't thought it was actually really happened in the royal family. But super interesting. You might not think it's interesting, but it's super interesting, and a good thing it's already in its third season, so you don't have to wait every week till something news comes out. So I can guarantee you the first episode maybe, but then by the second episode you're hooked. Seriously, you're hooked. And said, okay. I said, well, so I'm done. And then Hans says to me, I heard about you that you never saw Game of Thrones. Yeah, I said, I swear, I'm one of the few people on this planet of Earth who never said Game of Thrones, right? And but yeah, you really, now that you're done with the Crown, maybe you want to pick up Game of Thrones. And we start to have this little kind of community of people who are binge watching, and we have really serious conversations about this. But what is it actually that we achieve? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. We help people to make more of that crap coming out. And I'm not saying, by the way, that you should not watch anything on Netflix at all. I watch Netflix, and I like to see a movie once in a while, and I do follow once in a while one of those never-ending sitcoms. We all do, and we all should, by the way. Or no, maybe not should, but we all could, just because it's fun and it relaxes us a little bit, right? So I remember definitely when I was younger, and you have to be really old to know this. But then on Saturday evening, they would broadcast Bonanza, So, oh, and we would get hot chocolate, or we would, depending on the time of the year, we would get hot tea, and then the whole family would just sit together to watch Bonanza with Hoss and all these characters. And there was a Western show. In Dutch, we would say a cowboy show, and a cowboy show. But it was a Western show, and so we had that. And so binge watching was invented, not now, by the way. That was invented way, way long ago, when we only had two. We had only the Dutch television one and Dutch television two, and then whatever was showed that you could see. You could not record anything, believe it or not, right? If you missed something, you could not see it back. It was just gone. And then if you're lucky, you could see it on the German television again. But that was it. And since you could not miss it, the whole family was watching together, and that's what all TV stations started to do to help us to form the habit to watch every Saturday on TV. And one of the important things to see on Saturday on television was Miss Bauman. You could see Miss Bauman on television, and we had something to talk about to our people around us or something. Because why? Because it connected us. Right, it connected us. We formed a habit so that the day after you could say, "Hey, did you see Miss Bauman?" Oh, you didn't see what? You didn't see it. So you wanna don't feel bad about missing out on things. That's a little bit. So you start to form habits instead of forming good habits. Does that make sense? So you could put it into action. Now, if you have if you need to form a new habit, you need to do it at least 60 days. I used to say 100 days, but no one want to buy into that. Some people say 30 days, but I say 60, so I kind of middled it. You need to do it at least 60 days in a row to make it so that it becomes harder to not do it, to not do it anymore. That's what it needs to do. So if you want to say, hey, I want to go bike and I want to do it every Saturday, you probably have to do it 60 Saturdays in a row. And then by that time, the next Saturday comes, you don't even think about it. You put your biking gear on and you just go, right? But the first 2 weeks, you're very enthusiastic. And the third week, you're super enthusiastic. And the fourth week, you're still enthusiastic. But then something happens and you get less enthusiastic. But if you do it 60 days in a row or 60 Saturdays in a row, I'll promise you, things will become just a habit, right? Hi, Irene. We're still in the middle of, yeah, we're still in the middle of my talk. Yeah. So you need to do that. Now, if you have a little bit more difficult goals, like, I want to be less stressed, I want to be less stressed by the end of 2021. That's a little bit harder to make concrete, right? Because we know how to do fitness and stuff like that. We think we know how to do fitness and getting fitter. But so we are a little bit less good in defining things that we could take action on, because it sounds a little bit counterintuitive. Do actions to be a little bit less stressed. So then you have to go a little bit deeper and you have to think about, okay, what habits do I want to, and that's why I like it, because for the one, you need to take on new habits. For the other one, you probably have to put away some habits, which is actually a lot harder. What are the things that give you stress that you could lose literally today? What are the things that give you stress that you literally could lose today? Well, what are the things, if that's your husband, that's a little bit hard. That's a little bit a difficult thing to do. And he was gone. I'm sure he's going to do the trick now. And voila. And voila. It's problem solved. You don't have to wait till the end of 21 to do that trick, right? But what are the things that you could do in all seriousness? Guys, this is the most. I'm not sure that this will get a lot of traction on social media, or maybe it got the most actually. So what can you do to already think about it? Okay, how can I lower my stress in 2021? So first of all, you need to get rid of quite a few things in your life, right? And you have to be kind of rigid on it, right? You cannot say, like, I complain about these things. I want to have less stress, but I'm not going to change my life. So you have to first, if you have a new if you have a new year's resolution or you have a new goal, you have to first accept, that's where it starts, that you need to make a change. If you think, I want to have an I want to achieve something else, doesn't really matter what it is, but you don't want to change, you already know, let's forget about this whole thing. Just let's see what 2021 brings us. And I just go with the flow. But then you become like a leaf in the wind or like dust in the wind. You don't know where this thing is going to take you. Right. So just give you some very concrete steps about having less stress. You can add a couple of things first, like say meditation or mindfulness or doing all this kind of stuff. But that doesn't really help you if you don't know why you are getting stress in the first place, right? So stress is a little bit harder thing to manage, but I can guarantee you already within less than 14 days or so, I can help you to personally or just by conversation personally help you to have less stress already in 14 days. Seriously true, right? But first you need to be sure that you want to make a change in your life. You don't want to make a change in your life, you're probably, your pain is not good enough, it's not great enough. So the other trick that I waited for is, how would you feel if the goals that you set for yourself, right? One was, I want to help more people. The other one said, I want to be more fit. Some people said, I want to have less paper piles around me. And then one person said, I forgot about it. Oh yeah, want to have less stress. What would happen if you don't reach your goal? How would you feel then? Yeah, can you type that in me? We are a little bit late, Irene, because I had huge technical difficulties here, and we had a small magic show too. Yeah, do you want to see the magic trick? Yeah. All right, just hold on for the magic trick. Right. It worked again. Yeah, I learned that trick from Hans. It was much more fun how he did it. It was much more fun how he did. He was really cool. Okay, we're all doing it. They were all doing it. So anyhow, so how would you feel if the goals that you set for yourself and you don't reach them, and you need to make that really into yourself? How would you feel about that? How would you feel? Okay, so it's about starting behaving different. Yeah, that's true, Hans. You need to start be disappointed. Okay, that's a good feeling. Really disappointed. Hard to deal with, hard to accept. Okay. Also disappointed. Everyone is about disappointed. Okay. Come on, John. How would you feel? Down. Okay. Okay. So here is the trick, guys. You need to do both for me. First of all, you need to feel, you know, how it is if you don't reach the goal, right? I mean, you need to really feel it, like seriously pretend that what you set out to do and how that make you feel. There are two things. If it doesn't make you feel miserable, your goal is not strong enough. Trust me, that's one of the things why you don't reach it. That's just a kind of a fluff goal. You want to make, okay, I want to learn how to make pancakes in 2012, 2021. And if I don't reach it, okay, yeah, that's fine. I can always learn how to make pancakes. But if you really want to make pancakes, and if at the end of 2021 I won't reach it, and I said, look, oh my gosh, if I don't learn how to make pancakes, that would just be the end of life. I would just like hate it. I would hate myself. It's like I would feel so miserable about myself. And which truly do it on your own, right? When you're walking the dog, just feel it how it is when you won't reach that goal. You would feel miserable, you would feel a failure, you would be, like don't immediately do weird things about that, because there's another exercise after that, right? Just hold on before you do something really bad, you know, saying how would you feel if you do reach it? Now that's a much nicer feeling, hopefully. But if you don't feel really accomplished already, then also, like, okay, think about the pancakes that I said. Okay, then I know how to make pancakes. Okay, no big deal, right? No one says no big deal. But can you imagine how I would feel in the situation that I'm in right now if my business would do $1 million? It's not only that I would feel good, but it's I know that for every about $100 that I comes through my business, I helped someone, right? I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of people that I've helped. That's a reach that it's like almost beyond anything that I can imagine. So therefore I won't make a goal to myself. I want to make, but the goal in itself, that was the result, right? So I can start with helping people every day. And I did. It was not enough for me today, but today so I know I have literally proof that I helped someone today. And I thought that was awesome. That it's actually an awesome feeling. It didn't bring me any money. Actually, to be honest, it costed me a little bit money to help that person. But that's okay. You know, I have just another thing to solve, is to help someone without that it costing me too much money. But I know for a fact that I helped someone today, right? So I made it measurable for me. So it's not only that I changed my habits, but I made it measurable. And I also made it accountable now, because I said, at least to this group, I want to make $1 million through my business this year. And I will translate that for you, by the way, for this small group, what that means in terms of how many people I would have helped then, right? And so I know now, if I do that, because I did that exercise, I know now what I have to do tomorrow to make that $1 million, at least to start walking that path. Maybe I only make $1,000 at the end of the year, or maybe I make only $10,000 at the end of the year. I don't know. But what I do know is that I have to reach out every day to people to at least offer them to be able to help them. Because if I don't offer it, I'm sure I won't help anyone, right? I saw Hans making a post on Facebook, by the way. Thank you for that, Hans. It was super beautiful. But if you don't offer it to anyone, you can't help anyone, right? At some point in time, you have to come out of your shell and say, hey, if that's my goal to help more people, at least I need to offer the help, right? Whether it's a bump on the street, a bump on the street, or it doesn't really matter, right? So the same thing with any goal that you do, if you at least don't make it a once a week goal, let's say you want to get rid of your papers, your pile of papers, you need to make at least a once in a week goal, otherwise it won't work, right? And then you have to do it 60 weeks straight, that one goal. Preferable, you want to have a goal that you can execute every day. Yeah, preferable, you want to do something to it every day. So in my case, I want to do 1 million, and that's about, I don't know how many people, that's about, I said, for every $100, I can seriously help one group, one set of people, what did I say? Um, so if I want to do 10,000 people, that means I need to start cracking on it and do about 27 people a day. I need to reach 27 people a day to make sure that I get to that goal. Now, what do I do? That could mean I could do a Facebook advertisement, or I can do a post, or I can do a podcast. That's in my line of business, right? So maybe I'm disappointed about the results that I have at the moment, but what I do know for sure is that if I stop doing what I'm doing, even if it doesn't give me the results yet that I want, I for sure will not get to my goal. So if I want to run a marathon and immediately go outside and put my running shoes on, do it in the other order, in the other way around, by the way, put your shoes on first and then go outside. but that was just a minor detail. And you immediately start to walk 41 kilometers and 950 meters or something like that, in that order. I forgot what the exact was, but about 42 kilometers. And I am disappointed after 2 kilometers that I can do it. That's not a good way to approach a marathon, because remember, the marathon is your end goal. Start, maybe you say, okay, I can, that's probably not the way you do learn how to do a marathon, but just bear with me just a little bit. Maybe you can do only 100 meters today. Tomorrow you do 102 kilometers. I remember really good because I've been following Hans and Belinda for quite a while in their biking adventure. And in the beginning, there was a lot of huffing and puffing about the things, and then everyone suddenly amazed how many miles those people were doing on a day. And then we start to get interested, and this was against the wind, or this was uphill, or this was that. But in the beginning, you were just hoping that they actually made it home in one piece, because that's how it seriously felt, right? You think, and then probably on the bikes, one of the two of you, after let's say the first half hour or 50 minutes already, you think, why the hell am I doing this? Well, what's the point? I'm only getting tired. I will never get here. This inner talk is keep on going, right? It never stops. It just keeps going, going, going. And it's true with everything. You want to do fitness, you will have that voice immediately start. Why? Watching television is much nicer. I'm not good enough. You have never been fit in your whole life. Why do you think you can get fit right now? Look at all those other people in the Lululemons, how they look. You will never look like that because you're born as shit and you will always be shit. That inner thing will go on in your head over and over again. So that's the third phase. You have to find a way to talk differently to yourself. No one can help you just by just yelling at your inner voice, shut the fuck up. Seriously true. I don't use those words very lightly on purpose because they lose meaning. But sometimes you have to say that to yourself because your inner voice for every goal that you have is your biggest enemy. It's not the people you look at, it's the meaning of the people that you look at, right? You just have to do it. You don't need the best motor become bike to do become you just need a bike, right? You don't need all these things, right? It's all, you don't need a Lululemon to start to run outside. If you know what Lululemon is, it's kind of the super brands here. You don't need any of all these things. You just need to do the first thing, and that is the first step. You want to lower your piles of paper? Just throw one paper out. Yeah. You want to be more relaxed? Granted, that's a slightly harder thing to attack in this way, but it's the same thing. Start to think about one thing that you stop doing that makes you stressed. You don't have to add, complicated Sadhguru meditation techniques to it. That gives you only more stress because now I have to do a meditation technique. And by the way, it's a really good meditation technique. If you're ready for it, I can highly recommend his method of meditation. But at the moment, that's a lot too much, right? You don't need all these things. You don't need a saddle that was made in Italy and then ended up in the United States and then needed to be sent up to the Netherlands back to be a better biker. And you think that's a bogus story? That is a true story. That is a true story. At some point in time, it just gives you joy to be able to do that, right? But does it make you a better biker? No. Does it make you go a lot faster? No. Does it make your pooper hurt less? Maybe a little bit, but it feels just better to have pain from a saddle that is about $500 than pain from a saddle that's only $200. At least you have that joy. Well, if you can do that, do these things, guys. I'm seriously true. It is funny how it works, but I'm sure that the person who is listening to me right now had this inner talk and convinced himself that he needed to have that settled. And I'm sure that he had that talk with his spouse to have really strong arguments that that was a really necessary thing. We all have that. We all have these things. But these are but in this case, this saddle, it actually helped this person only to do more biking, not to do less biking. But the other voice is way worse. The voice that says that you're not good enough. The voice that says, you have always been a lot of around papers in your life. You won't get rid of it. The voice that says you're not pretty enough. You're not all these things, right? That's your enemy number one. So write it down, right? You have your habits. Think about what habits you need to change. You have your feelings. How would you feel if you reach your goal? How would you feel if you don't reach your goal? If those feelings are just like moi, it's okay. If I know how to make pancakes, that's great. If I don't make how to make, that's not a good goal. That's nothing that you want to achieve, right? And then start to break it down, and hopefully you can formulate something that is actionable every single day, right? Every single day, right? So now, of course, I cannot do the individual things, but I did a little bit of individual things. So I'll make one round. Irene, if you have something that you want to achieve in 2021, then I'll give you then I'll give you a quick tip at the end of it. That's my gift to you. It's a quick tip how to reach it, right? So someone said I wanted to lower my piles of paper. Your first tip is every day when papers come in, immediately take a decision with the paper that you take in hand, which is mostly coming through your mail. This is what I need and this is what I not need, right? Don't think about it. I will read it later, or maybe it comes in handy later. Immediately make the decision. And if that goes on the pile, then throw it out immediately. Don't make a new pile. This is what I'm going to throw out. Throw it out immediately, right? So that's one thing. Someone who said, I want to be more fit. What I want you to do is, what can you do tomorrow to start exercising? Don't think about, oh, I might need some new running shoes or a new trekking suit. That's all good. That's all good. But you can literally do something tomorrow. You don't have to think about what fitness center should I go to. You can literally go and take your dog and say, okay, from now on, and I'll make it a habit, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll walk my dog and I'll do it for X minutes, and write it down. And write it down in this group if you say, I didn't do it, because that makes it a little bit more painful. So, whatever your goal is, just write it down to this group saying, hey, I want to walk the dog every day or every other day. That's fine for me too. If you want to help more people, I think we talked about that because that's a little bit in line with my goal for 2020. I want to continue to help more people. I just want to up my game, although it's not going so well, but I'm still going to up my game, right? And so I make sure that I offer my service of what I help in the area that I help at least once a day, at least once a day. That's what my promise is, right? And if that drives the results of the $1 million business, that, remember, that's not a good goal, right? That is just not a good goal. And once I know how to help one person, which I know now, just my assignment of that same day is then, what can I do then to help two people? And I build it up until I help the 10,000 people that I think I need to help in a year, right? Because 10,000 people in a year equates from a business point of view to $1 million a year. So the $1 million is not important at all. It's the 10,000 people that I want to help. And the 10,000 people I can break down in how many those are per day. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I can break everything down till I come down to something per day. Now, and then come to the last one is, how can you be more relaxed today? Most of the time, people that are not relaxed in a day have an either, and you can fill out you either fall in the category, my life is over organized, or my life is not organized at all. And if you are over organized, I want you to schedule, that sounds really weird, to schedule time in your calendar that you can do whatever you want. Let's say from 7 till 8 in the evening, I can do whatever I want. I can literally do whatever. If I want to watch, The Crown, I'll watch The Crown. If I want to yell at my husband, I want to yell at because Jean says from 7 till 8, I can do whatever I want. But don't plan it, right? Don't plan because that's not doing whatever you want, right? It is you wait till it's 7 o'clock and then say, hey, it's 7 o'clock. I can literally do whatever I want. Now that feels super uncomfortable in the beginning. Super, because you think, I don't know what to do. Because you have the need to plan everything in, and therefore you get a lot of stress. And even in the time that you say you can whatever you do, you have a need to do that, right? I don't know what the best time is for you to do that, but you can do that. If you are one of those people who are stressed and their life is chaos, right? Which I know some of you can use some of the tips of other people. It is time to start plan some things in. Don't plan your whole day. Plan just 2 or 3 hours in a day. So it's okay. From now on, from 8 till 10 in the morning, I do something very specific. I start to work on my website, or I start to work on my blog, or I start to work out. That's for the people who are stressed because they have no structure in their life. Now, that is a little bit harder to recognize. Some people who are more in the area of depressed and anxiety fall in that category. So there are only two categories in life. If you have the feeling that you need to be more relaxed, it's either you do too much or you literally don't do enough and you're too much in your head. From Irene, she has to go. It was great to see you all. Hope everyone has an amazing Christmas. Yep, always it makes me happy to see this bunch on Tuesday. All right. Thank you for dropping by, Irene. All right, guys, this was my holiday. The place, it was a little bit crazy. We had some magic, we had some technical difficulties, we had some laughters, and we had some serious talk. I'm closing it off on Facebook and on my recording, but I'll keep it open for a few minutes on my Zoom so we can talk a little bit more. All right. So for the people on Facebook, I say bye bye. Forgive us for the madness of today.